ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back here in downtown Detroit, the Atlanta Falcons, one win, and they are the 1 seed in the NFC either tonight or next Sunday back home against Tampa Bay. San Francisco has its huge game coming up with Seattle this time tomorrow. The Green Bay Packers have already locked down the NFC North. Mike Smith on the NFC team that has 4 straight winning seasons coming in here this year. 55-23, his impressive mark. His team won here in Detroit last year, the last time these teams met, 23-16. Toss won by the Lions, and they will receive. So Stephon Logan goes back to get the kickoff of Matt Bosher. Falcons 12-2 coming off that big win over the Giants. The Lions lost 38-10 at Arizona after Matthew Stafford and company had played 4 games against playoff level teams, very close, losing those 4 by a total of 12 points. But Stafford threw 2 pick sixes in that game last week in the desert and led to the defeat. Bosher is set, and off we go with week 16 of the NFL season here from Detroit. And the Lions will take over at their own 20-yard line. So they went to college in Athens at Georgia. Matthew Stafford, the #1 overall pick. John doesn't have Brandon Pettigrew tonight, who's out with a high ankle injury.
Well, this is a pass-happy offense, Mike. Stafford's on schedule to throw it over 700 times. Problem is they have limited personnel. They're missing 3 of their top slot receivers. You mentioned Pettigrew. That's not a good combination when you're a team that lives and dies with the forward pass.
Opening drive starts from the 20, and Detroit has their first-round pick Riley Reif in the lineup as an extra lineman. First down, first toss. It's Johnson on the edge, gets about 3 yards before Asante Samuel brings him down. John, Matthew Stafford was very honest. This is one of his poorest games as the Lions quarterback, and he said, that's about as bad as I can play last week in the loss to the Cardinals.
And for a lot of reasons. They've had no continuity at all in the receiving corps. But Matthew Stafford has had 4 balls intercepted in the red zone. He's had 4 different interceptions returned for touchdowns.
Detroit's had to take a timeout here right away off this opening play. I don't know if it was a personnel issue or what it was, but quickly the Lions take timeout, and it's not making the fans happy who've seen their team lose their last 6 games.
Well, you know, when you go back to this Lion offense, you're missing Nate Burleson, your second receiver. Ryan Broyles, your third receiver. Who knows where Titus Young is, another receiver that impacts this football team. And then you throw in Brandon Pettigrew. You're running out of options. Look out there. You see Chris Durham off the practice squad. They're using Riley Reif, an offensive tackle, as a tight end. So obviously it's going to impact Stafford.
You mentioned those wide receivers. And with Pettigrew out, really receiving options 2 through 5 after Calvin Johnson are not available to Stafford again here this week. Tony Scheffler has to have a bigger role in the pass game tonight. After a gain of 3 on first down, it's a throw to Will Heller, the tight end. Was a couple yards shy of the first down. Stephen Nicholas with the tackle, but we have a flag thrown. Gene Steratore is our referee tonight. We're talking about Riley Reif and being an eligible receiver, and the Lions had Reif as an eligible after first down, and then called the timeout.
Number 71 had reported as eligible on first down. However, the timeout that Detroit had called absolved him from a foul of being ineligible on second down. There was no foul on the play. It is third.
That was Hakulian in explanation.
I got to go back to school in the offseason and learn how to use some of these words. Absolved. Jerry Austin must be teaching these guys these fancy words.
Jerry,
right, Reif stays in the ball game, but just incredible confusion coming in and out of this Lion huddle.
Which shouldn't happen in your first 15 plays of your script to start a game. The play clock running down. This is 3rd and 2. And Stafford will hand off for the first time tonight, trying to get the first down, and denied is Michael Shore. The second year back out of Illinois was stuck by Thomas Deku, the safety.
Well, this is something the Lions haven't done all year. Sean Chappis, a fullback, has been playing a little bit of fullback. Here's Will Heller, a tight end, trying to become a fullback. And at the point of attack, you see there's just no movement for Michael LaSure, and that's not a pretty series to start the game. They are trying to run a two-back offense without a pure fullback. Hard to do against Atlanta.
Nick Harris with the punt. It's 47 yards. And from the 25-yard line, here comes the return. Back to the 35-yard line by Dominique Franks of the Falcons. So it's decent field position as Atlanta gets started with their quarterback, Matt Ryan. 55 wins in his career, and John Dirk Cutter really dialed up a very nice offense in his first year as the coordinator.
Yeah, he has some dynamic skill players. Two great receivers, Roddy White and Julio Jones, an all-world tight end in Tony Gonzalez, and two distinctly different backs. You'll see that tonight. But the way he's distributed the football to all of them, impressive work by Dirk Cutter in his first year coordinating this Falcon offense.
Drive starts from the 35. Here's the give to Turner, looking to go right. Not going to get anything out of it. No tackle, or no gain. The tackle is made. Vanden Bosch at the top of the pile. There's Matt Ryan and his season-long stats. John, we talked about it in Monday Night Countdown. Probably the best of his 5 years, given the way the offense is a little more aggressive and how accurate he's been getting it distributed well.
Does a lot at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see different kinds of tempo tonight. He's in complete command of a lot of offense here in Atlanta.
2nd and 10, Ryan's first pass has to come back to the check down. It's Michael Turner who spins off DeAndre Levy and gets the first down on a gain of 13. 16th catch of the year. The 9th year running back out of Northern Illinois. And John, let's take a look at this. Lions defense has been up for much criticism during this season.
Well, a big reason is they've committed 47 defensive penalties. It's hard for me to say. I've never heard a number like that. And they're really beat up in the secondary. Mike Don Carey, a former corner. Jonte Green, a rookie 7th rounder. Hard to play without healthy secondary people.
1st and 10. Ryan comes back again to Turner. This time the linebacker's quicker to react. He got bent awkwardly. Stephen Tulloch was holding on to his leg. John, you talk about those penalties. 47 just on the defense. Atlanta as a team has only been penalized 50 times this year.
That's a key ingredient in winning football, and that's a key ingredient in losing football. Falcons have taken care of the ball. They haven't committed penalties. Detroit has committed numerous penalties, and they're -9 in the turnover ratio.
Turner out at running back. Quiz Rogers has come in. Both sides adjust it for 2nd and 9. And Rogers will take it left. Wrapped up quickly by Justin Durant, former Jacksonville Jaguar. It'll force 3rd down.
That's what Matt Ryan does. He uses a dummy snap count. He's trying to recognize the coverage that the Lions are playing. And if he sees too deep tonight, that means it's a 6-man box. He's going to run the football. This time he goes through the theater of the dummy count. He sees it's a double zone. He audibles to a running play to the left side behind Sam Baker and Blaylock. But fortunately for the Lions, Levy stuffs it.
3rd and 9 against the 4-man rush. Ryan throws complete to Julio Jones. Is wrapped up. And Stephen Tulloch keeps him shy of the first down at the 46-yard line of Detroit.
And that's an important stop by this Lion defense. They're going to play a lot of zone coverage tonight. They don't match up well on the outside with Roddy White or Julio Jones. They're going to give them some of these short intermediate grabs underneath. They're going to rally and gang tackle. That time, good work by Detroit.
Matt Bosher, the 2nd-year punter. Stephon Logan is back, and he has had a major problem just catching the ball this year. Muffed another one last week in Arizona. That catch at the 10 for the Lions to take over. Just under 5 minutes gone by in this opening quarter of Week 16. Calvin Johnson back on the field when you come back.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC. Enter the Never Say Never sweepstakes for a chance to win a 2013 GMC vehicle at gmc.com/NFL. And State Farm for auto, home, life, and banking. Get to a better state.
Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. The world headquarters of GM, the Renaissance Center, the Detroit River, top of your screen, John, that's Canada. You actually drive south from downtown Detroit to get to Canada. It's the one place in America you go south to get to Canada.
Thanks.
I just want you to watch your instrument panel next time you hop in the car. 1st and 10 Lions take over their own 10-yard line. Here is Stafford, a first down throw, incomplete, as Sean Chappis, the fullback, was covered. Mike Nolan, he's the defensive coordinator. Used to be a head coach in the National Football League with San Francisco, and Johnny's really done a good job turning around the look of this unit this year.
He does it everywhere he goes, Mike. He's got a lot of ball-hawking defenders. Asante Samuel. Thomas Deku, a safety, has 6 interceptions, and he does it with creative coverages. Mike Nolan really knows the game. They can play any kind of coverage, man or zone, and you'll see a lot of disguises tonight.
Missing William Moore, that ball-hawking safety. It's been such a good combination with Thomas Deku. Moore out again with injury. Michael LaSure runs to the left. He gains about 3 yards to the 23-yard line. So a few years ago, the plan was Javid Best, who they drafted a few years ago, and LaSure to be the power and the shifty back. Best has had concussion problems, hasn't been on the field for over a year and a half, and LaSure missed the first year with an Achilles injury, 2 games of suspension. And there are his numbers thus far this year.
Yeah, there's no experience whatsoever on this Lion offense other than Calvin Johnson. A lot of first-year players and a lot of players from nowhere.
Right there.
Josh Desharos reacted as Deku stepped in the neutral zone to try to force the offside call. And we'll see how they saw it down the line.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense. Number 28 was in the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start. A 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Let's listen to Matthew Stafford hard count. He gets Thomas Deku. Good move by Stafford early in this game to use that hard count in an obvious passing situation. And this is where they want to be in 3rd down and 1-3 all night. This is the optimum position if you're going to be in 3rd down against the Lions.
They ran in this situation in the last drive, and they're very rare. 7% run team on 3rd down. Here they throw. Here goes Calvin Johnson. Megatron past midfield into the secondary to the 33-yard line. We'll watch his yards all night. Looks like 49 on that one.
49-yard gain with a 2-yard throw. Dante Robinson with man-to-man coverage. On a little crisscross, you see Scheffler run interference, and it forces number 23, Robinson, to bubble slightly. A great throw by Stafford. It never changed Megatron's running mechanics. Got to be real careful playing man-to-man against Megatron.
And Calvin Johnson's second catch, he has 52 yards. He has set the Lions' single-season record with that grab. Biggest offensive play of the night from the 33. It's a first down run. Michael LaSure lost the football. Recovered by Atlanta. Corey Jerry there on the pile to come away and get it after Troy Bierman caused the fumble. 3rd time this year LaSure has fumbled. He's lost them all. And the Lions lose the ball. Corey Bierman is changing his jersey over there on the sideline. He's the one who caused the fumble, the Gruden grinder from the pregame. Coming up with a big early play in the first turnover of the night. First down Atlanta from its own 31. And Matt Ryan finds Roddy White over the middle gain of 60. Let's go back to the turnover, John.
Well, it's a zone blitz. They're going to come with a blitz off the strong side, and Bierman's actually going to drop in coverage, Mike. And when he sees the ball handed off to LaSure, he just makes an instinctive play and pokes it right out of LaSure's grasp, and it's been a real problem for this Lion football team since I can remember. They just can't run the ball with any kind of success.
Detroit's 27th turnover on the season. Tossed to Turner, running left. Not going anywhere. Lost a yard. Lawrence Jackson coming over from his defensive tackle spot to make a stop.
Ndamukong Suh makes a nice lateral play with help from his teammates. It's going to be a toss sweep. Take a look at Suh playing left defensive tackle. Flat down the line. And to credit somebody else with that tackle.
Jackson coming over to make the play. That popped over to end. It's 2nd and 11. And there is encroachment on Suh, assuming he wasn't induced.
Encroachment. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Huge problem for the Lions and their defensive line. Their fault starts over the year. Again this year, Gunther Cunningham, their defensive coordinator, but not Suh. That's only his 2nd encroachment penalty of the year. He has 1 personal foul, and that's it. 3 flags against him.
Well, 48 defensive penalties. What 4 and 10 teams do.
Second and much more manageable for Matt Ryan, and it's Turner seeking stress. A nice run as he is stuffed by Louis Delmas. Jaquiz Rogers, I beg your pardon, on that carry, and stopped by Louis Delmas, the hard-hitting safety, oft injured for Detroit.
Is what Matt Ryan does for this Falcon offense. Much like Peyton Manning did for years in Indianapolis. He sees his split safety look. He knows they're light in the box. I'll hand the ball off. And he makes sure Jaquiz Rogers gets the call, and he makes sure that every time the Falcons run the ball in these one-back sets, they're running into optimum looks. Good running, excellent quarterback play.
With a poor 3rd and short team. He'll throw for it here on 3rd and 1. He'll take a shot down the field as well. For Roddy White, got past Houston, and in for the touchdown. The former Falcon, Chris Houston, in coverage. His old teammate beats him for the touchdown.
Well, they've had trouble in short yardage. So Mike Smith probably went down to Dirk Cutter's office and says, hey, they're going to be in man-to-man in 3rd and 1. Throw a bomb to Roddy White. And Gunther Cunningham told us yesterday they were very concerned about the size, the speed, and the strength of these Falcon receivers against the undersized corners of the Detroit Lions. And Houston, a former Atlanta Falcon, just got torched by Roddy White. Great throw and a great route.
Touchdown number 6 on the season for Roddy White. 99th straight game with a catch as well. And Matt Bryant adds the extra point, so the LeSure fumble turns into a Roddy White touchdown from Matt Ryan. It's 5-5 on the night. 7-0 Atlanta. Quick turnaround for the guys. Our Magnificent 7 on Sunday NFL Countdown. Back at it. Terrific feature on the 40th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception and the rise of Russell Wilson in Seattle. Sunday NFL Countdown. Chris Berman and the guys get you set. 3 hours to set the table for Sunday number 16 in the NFL. Of course, the guys will be with you throughout the playoffs and down in New Orleans pre-Super Bowl. 12-2 Falcons off to the 7-0 lead. And the kickoff by Bosher will be brought out by Stephon Logan. He gets past the 20 into the 26-yard line. And Matthew Stafford and the Lions. They're very used to playing from behind. Jim Schwartz took over a winless team 3 years later, got him in the playoffs. This year it's been mistakes like too many turnovers. Michael LeSure fumbles earlier. Then, John, they had him 2nd and 11.
Well, it's an offsides on Ndamukong Suh. It makes it a 2nd and 6. It sets up the 3rd and 1, and Roddy White takes advantage of one-on-one coverage in that situation. He goes deep against Chris Houston, but the penalties are significant role players in a lot of these bad scenes in Detroit.
And from the 26-yard line, LeSure on the bench. Joik Bell with the carry, just shy of the 30-yard line.
LeSure's going to be on the bench for a while if he continues to have trouble hanging on to the ball. LeSure's longest run this year is 16 yards. He's had a hard time breaking away for a big run. He's not involved in the passing game, but he must handle the ball much better for this Lion offense to help Matthew Stafford out.
Most pass-happy team in the NFL. 2nd and 7, a shotgun run with Stephon Logan. And Logan gives him a little burst in speed to the 42. A first-down yard gain of 13.
Man, is he quick. Jaquiz Rodgers and Logan, two of the smallest backs in the NFL. He's hard to find. He hides behind those big offensive linemen. He's shifty and quick. Nice first down.
Logan started his career with the Steelers. You look at Logan and also Mike Thomas, who's about 5'8", and they're out there next to Calvin Johnson in the huddle at 6'5". Speaking of which, here comes Thomas. The end around takes him right to midfield. So a good first down game by Thomas, who was with Jacksonville earlier this season. Lions traded for him midseason.
Detroit challenging the Atlanta Falcons on the perimeter with a reverse. Watch John Abraham at the bottom of the screen. Try to keep leverage on the play, but good running by Mike Thomas. Sets up a 2nd and short, and this is when they love to take shots to Megatron here at the bottom of the screen.
Hard count by Stafford, free play. Matthews says pump and go get it, Calvin. And Calvin got it at the 32-yard line. System intelligence there, gain of 18.
I just love the way Stafford can flick this ball. People talk about his lack of fundamentals. He can throw the ball from different platforms like I've never seen before. He's falling backwards, three-quarter delivery, and the ball's on the money. That's a beautiful sight. Watching Calvin Johnson go to work. Too deep, they rotate to Calvin. He keeps the play alive, and poetry in motion.
So 70 receiving yards for Johnson. He has passed Herman Moore, the single-season record in Detroit Lions history. Played a congratulatory message on the big board from Herman Moore during the last timeout. Joyce Bell runs up the middle, and Bell takes it to the 24-yard line.
I like this Joyce Bell. He's caught over 40 passes. He started in Buffalo. He went over to Philadelphia, to New Orleans. Now he's here. He runs the weak side zone play in a one-back set. But he averages 5 yards a carry. He hangs on to the ball. You can use him in the passing game. It doesn't matter what round you come in, Mike, where you go to school. You can be from Wayne State. It doesn't matter. Jim Schwartz is going to play the best players, and I think Bell's their best back.
2nd and 3, and it is Bell again trying to bounce off a tackle. Keem Dent, the middle linebacker, made the tackle, gained a yard. He did go to college, Bell, just 2 miles straight down Woodward Avenue, the main thoroughfare here in town, at Wayne State, and he was the Division II best player at that level. Won the Harlan Hill Award. It was 88 rushing touchdowns that he had at Wayne State.
3rd down and 3. This has been a man-to-man down for the Falcon defense. They got burned last time against one-on-one coverage with Calvin Johnson. Here he is at the bottom of the screen with Samuel.
They showed one coverage, and then Atlanta changed its coverage. So Stafford adjusts the play. Great chess game. Stafford pumping, throwing middle, caught and held on to by Brian Robisky for the first down. So Brian Robisky, whose dad Terry played in the NFL, longtime coach, and is the receiver coach for the Falcons, watches his son pick up the first down.
Turns into a 3-man rush. It looks like it's going to be a maximum blitz. The Falcons check out of it. They rush 3. It turns into a maximum zone, and Stafford does a nice job finding Robisky for a key first down.
Go ahead, Dom.
Lions getting to the red zone. Setting up the screen way too hard for Joyce Bell. That could have been disaster going the other way. John mentioned it earlier. Let's just show you the faces of the missing, who would be the 2 through 5 options when the season started for Matthew Stafford. Titus Young had a knee injury, and he did some messed up things. Like he lined up in the wrong place on purpose, and the Lions have essentially told him, get out, go away. Nate Burleson, who injured his knee, out for the season. That happened in our Monday night game with Chicago. Brian Broyles, their 2nd-round pick, came off the ACL at Oklahoma, injured the other anterior cruciate ligament in his right knee this time. And Pettigrew with the high ankle, missing his 2nd game tonight. Draw for Bell. He'll get nothing. The push in the middle was led by Corey Peters of the Falcons D.
Well, we don't have receivers. You find a fullback. They went out and found Sean Chappis, but watch him in the hole here against Akeem Dent. You never like to see a fullback cut at the point of attack in the hole on an isolation play. But the Detroit Lions are doing everything they can to find players to help them move the football with all those injuries, Mike.
I mean, that fullback's got to take him
on.
Head on. Can't go low his legs there, right?
Exactly right.
Final minute, third quarter. The first quarter, 3rd and 10. And Stafford throws. It is caught by Kevin Smith. But a great hit by Dante Robinson will stop it with a gain of 5, and the field goal unit comes on for the Lions.
Dante Robinson. Corners, they say you get paid to cover. This kid gets paid to tackle. Does an excellent job coming out of his back pedal. He sees the ball thrown, and he drives to make a form tackle short of the first down. That is good, solid Atlanta Falcon defense right there by Dante Robinson.
Only Morton Anderson and Gary Anderson. More field goals, more points in the NFL career than Jason Hanson. 34-yard attempt. And the 42-year-old Hanson, who spent half his life, 21 years in the NFL. Lions respond to the touchdown with a field goal of their own. Only a big game by Johnson. 7-3 Atlanta. 7-3 Atlanta. Been a great offensive season for the Falcons. They are using a lot of their personnel to really mess with the mind of the opposing defenses this year.
Well, you have 5 eligible receivers on every play, and the Atlanta Falcons use them all. But Dirk Cutter has to let everybody know who's in the game. So here's how it works. That first digit is the amount of backs. The second digit is the amount of receivers. So, tight ends.
Right.
So 1 back, no tight ends. How many receivers is that?
4.
Okay, if he calls 11 personnel, that's 1 back, 1 tight end. How many receivers? Exactly. What if he wants to go 12 personnel? That's 1 back, 2 tight ends. You're doing a good job, Mike. If he calls 20 personnel, he wants 2 backs, no tight ends. How many receivers? It has to add up to 5. But he's always calling different personnel groupings, and they have a great 11 package. They have Michael Turner in the game with Gonzalez, Roddy White, Julio Jones, and Harry Douglas. They go 21. They do it all, and they can form all these different formations, Mike. It's a lot of fun to watch Dirk Cutter work.
Great thing is you've got to have the people to make all those formations sing, and they do. A touchback taken there.
Listen, so Dirk Cutter knows if I get into 22 personnel, 2 backs and 2 tight ends in short yardage, there's just 1 wide receiver.
Yeah.
So he's got to say, hey, it's 22, give me Roddy White. Otherwise, Julio Jones might go out there. There's the 2 backs, there's the 2 tight ends. He entices the Lions to play one-on-one coverage. 2 backs, 2 tight ends, and 1 wide receiver. I bet Julio Jones is over there on the sideline going, man, how come he didn't go 22 Julio Jones? That's where Keyshawn Johnson got mad at me on Monday Night Football because I went 22 Keenan McCardle instead of 22 Keyshawn. He got mad at me. He's over it now. He told me last week.
You think he's over it?
I hope so.
Matt Ryan from the 20 going to take off, and Matt Ryan will slide shy of the 30-yard line. It's one of the great things about this season for Matt Ryan. His numbers have been so good. They've been so productive because of all those opportunities to throw the ball. 7-3 Falcons after 1. And off we go to the second quarter from Ford Field in downtown Detroit, Michigan. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters. Special Saturday edition of Monday Night Football. With Monday night being Christmas Eve. Good to be with you here to start Week 16. Ryan got 9 on that run. Michael Turner will get the first down yardage and carry DeAndre Levy to the 34-yard line. So, as is usual, the Lions had more yards. The other team had more points in that opening quarter, as this is the 3rd possession for Ryan and Atlanta.
Michael Turner was a workhorse tonight. Last week, the first time in a long time, the Falcons actually ran the ball more than they threw it. That's a good sign when you can be a balanced offense as you head into the playoffs. Now here they are, Mike, with a 2 halfback set. Snelling and Rogers.
Those personnel groupings you were talking about, how different they can look As Ryan throws to Julio Jones, who burst down the sideline and is punched out of bounds right around the 41-yard line. Julio Jones, 70 catches on the season.
Dirk Cutter comes in here as the offensive coordinator, throws a bunch of quick screens. You're going to see at the bottom of the screen, they're going to try to make it look like they're blocking and run a double move down the field, but the Lions cover it. So they lay the ball off underneath the Julio Jones, and boy, is he hard to tackle. 225 pounds with 4.4 speed, but they have a lot of offense off of these quick screens. Sometimes they'll fake it and go deep.
Because Rogers, he's got the first down and more. He bounces off of people to the 46-yard line. John, go back to the draft. There was a lot of criticism by folks when Atlanta went up to get Julio Jones. Said, you already have a number 1 in Roddy White. But this year, his second year, he's been healthier. He knows the offense better. And the marriage with Dirk Cutter and his offensive aggressive philosophy has really turned out so good for the Falcons.
I've always felt the great NFL championship teams have 2 bad ball receivers. The Falcons have 2 great bad ball receivers, Roddy White and Julio. Hard to defend both of them.
46-yard line, Matt Ryan. Damn Snelling, and he is wrapped up immediately by Stephen Tulloch. Flag down, back by the quarterback.
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
It's Tyson Clabo, the right tackle. And John, this is an Atlanta team, the opposite of Detroit, rarely penalized.
Well, they don't even get penalized 4 times a game. And that's a rare holding call on Tyson Clabo. Let's take a look. He's going up against Willie Young. I don't know. I don't let that one go. Of course, I disagree with almost every official I've ever met, Mike.
What? You know, there are a bunch of NFL officials in hotels getting ready for next week saying, yeah, you sure did. First and 20. Ryan throwing it to Harry Douglas, the 3rd receiver. That's Jonte Green, the 6th-round pick for the Lions, rookie. Thrust into a starting role with injury, done a nice job. Man, John, have we seen a lot of screens from Matt Ryan, and we've seen a league-leading 9 of every 10 completed, and the top passer rating in the league, because he's got guys who takes the screen and know what to do with it.
These stats are wonderful things to look at, but when you throw a quick screen out to Julio Jones or Roddy White, they can run right through you and gain a lot of yards, and it's a high percentage easy throw.
Lions have played a lot of this 2 deep safety tonight. So far, the 9 underneath doing a good job. Second down, Ryan. Came underneath to Snelling. Made a man miss. Made another one miss. And he drags Chris Houston out near midfield.
This right guard, Peter Kahn's a rookie out of Wisconsin. Does an excellent job in pass protection. A lot of people thought he was going to be a center only, didn't have the playing strength, but take a look what he does here. And then Ndamukong Suh gets help from McClure, but if you can pass protect and let Matt Ryan get to his 2nd and 3rd option, he'll complete 95% of his passes. Lions got to get some kind of pass rush tonight.
Matt Ryan, perfect. Hit them all 8 for 8 for 100 yards tonight. Make it 9 for 9. A first down with Roddy White slanting in front of Houston and into line territory at the 44.
Hard guy to blitz. Matt Ryan sees everything. They come with a field blitz. He says, bring it on, Detroit. I got Roddy White one-on-one on a slant pattern into the short side of the field. Roddy breaks flat across Houston's face. Houston's going to need some help tonight, Mike. I don't think he wants to be in a lot of one-on-one situations with Roddy White.
Maybe I gave him the first down too quickly. They're going to measure, but I have high confidence they've made it. Very high. At the 44. John, you talk about all the eligibles they have and those personnel groups you mentioned. Here's the ball distribution with Gonzalez at age 36 leading the charge with 87 catches.
That's a great job by Matt Ryan and by Dirk Cutter. And if you just watch this game carefully, the way they substitute on a down-by-down basis, it's impressive, the organization and the tempo that they play with.
Another in one back, one tight end with Gonzalez. Michael Turner is the back. And how the Lions reacted to that sends Ryan through that brain and making a change. Coming back to Julio Jones. You can see he's just one step away from busting a big one. Tackled by Justin Durant.
Look over there at that Falcons sideline. Here comes Davis, number 19. Here comes Rodgers, number 32. So a back and a receiver come into the game. Off goes Harry Douglas and Michael Turner. Sometimes they might be in the same personnel grouping. They might just use a different runner and a different receiver. And it drives Gunther Cunningham and most defensive coaches crazy. But number 19, Drew Davis, is a guy they love to bring in motion to block.
Davis comes in motion to the opposite side, and here's Roddy White. Oh, he got a great downfield block, and White's going to go again for his second touchdown. Sam Baker, the left tackle, got out, cut down the DB, and it's a 39-yard score for Roddy White.
That's great play calling and game planning by the Atlanta Falcons. Drew Davis comes in to block these toss cracks, and it's been a problem play for everybody. And when Davis cracks and they fake the toss, watch the linebackers flow to their left. And it creates angles for the Falcon offensive line, and that is a well-executed thing of beauty. Roddy White, guess who? Tony Gonzalez, the future Hall of Famer. Sam Baker leads it, but it's the design of the play, the tendency that they had with Drew Davis as a blocker. Man, I love what they just did there.
Matt Bryant adds the extra point. The touchdowns for Roddy White, 44 and 39 yards. Done a lot of running with the second one off this Matt Ryan. Good fake. Come back the other way for a second touchdown pass and an 11-point lead.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained, starring Jamie Foxx and Leonardo DiCaprio, in theaters Christmas Day, and NFLShop.com. Find the perfect gift at the official store of the NFL.
Our tour of America, crisscrossing the country multiple times, ended up here in Detroit to see some of the faces of our entire Monday Night Football team. How about that happy face, Matt Ryan? He's hit all 11 tonight. Hit his last 10 passes last week against the Giants. So that's a team record, 21 consecutive completions for Ryan.
What do you want to see him do? I've been telling you all week, man. He needs to get a lot more credit, and so does this Falcon football team. I don't know why they're flying under the radar in some people's mind.
They're flying on top of the NFC with the #1 seed with a win tonight. Stephon Logan on the return. He brings it out and doesn't get out into the 20-yard line. Roddy White, 2 touchdowns, 7 on the season. First one was 3rd and 1 for 44 yards, and the second one was a 39-yard scamper. 14-3, the Falcon lead as the Lions start their 4th drive of the night. And it's Michael LaShore, who fumbled earlier, taking it to the 33-yard line on a first down run game. Calvin Johnson, the one story to follow for Detroit tonight. 3 catches and 70 yards as he's trying to get closer to Jerry Rice, needing 182 yards to break Rice's record for the most receiving yards in a single season in NFL history. If he gets 30 more yards, he'll hit a couple of NFL records with a 100-yard game. He's 8th in a row. Stafford has time, throwing it downfield, and there is Calvin inbound. Gain of 20. He has 90 on the meter now.
Calvin deserves a lot of credit, but you also have to credit Matthew Stafford. Chris Durham runs a clear-out route, and Johnson runs a corner route right in behind him, and the ball is thrown on the money. Great sideline awareness by Calvin Johnson, but what a combination, a 24-year-old Matthew Stafford and a superstar Megatron.
The 43, back to LaShore, made one man miss. Gets about 1 yard on the run. Sean Weatherspoon made the tackle.
Really like this Sean Witherspoon. He's the undisputed leader of the Falcon defense. When Curtis Lofton left to go to New Orleans, they put that green dot on the back of Witherspoon's helmet. That green dot puts the radio helmet in his helmet. He's the man communicating with Mike Nolan, running a show here in Atlanta. He makes a lot of impact plays. He intercepts balls, causes fumbles. He can sack the quarterback. Love watching him play.
Pro Bowl caliber season for Weatherspoon. Swing out to Joyke Bell. 2 waiting for him. Flying from the safety spot, Chris Hope. And that veteran, 11 years in the league, he's starting tonight because of the injury to William Moore.
And Akeem Dent, the middle linebacker, number 52, is the man that's replacing Curtis Lofton. Doesn't get to play a lot of football here because they're in their sub defense most of the time, but the former Georgia Bulldog makes a nice pursuit play. Mike Nolan, defensive coordinator of the Falcons, using a lot of different zone blitzes in this game.
So 3rd and 7 here for Detroit. They pressure Stafford from the safety spot. Line getting there for the rush as well, and he throws it towards Joyke Bell, and it's incomplete. To the disguise and the pressure, Jonathan Babineau forces the punt.
Babineau can play. You know, they let Ray Edwards, a high-priced free agent, out of here for a reason, because Babineau's better. Number 95 on a TT cross with Hope coming up the middle. Babineau can play tackle or end. We've talked about Croy Bierman a number of times. This is a high-effort, very athletic front seven of the Falcons.
Nick Harris punting for Detroit. On the run, 37-yard kick, fair caught by Dominique Franks. Matt Ryan's hit Roddy White a couple of times already tonight. He's got 21 completions in a row. 3 weeks from Monday, Notre Dame, Alabama. They play for it all. The Discover BCS National Championship game. ESPN coverage all week leading up to the game, 8 o'clock on that Monday night. Brent Musburger, Kirk Herbstreit be down there in South Florida. The scene it will be. From the 17, Ryan completes for the 22nd straight time over 2 games. That pass to Harry Douglas. 22 consecutive completions. That's the 3rd longest such run, tying the 3rd longest in NFL history. Peyton Manning at 23 in a row. Donovan McNabb 24 in a row. Last 10 last week against the Giants. First 12 here tonight. So the 22, Michael Turner. He is upended. Louis Delmas comes down and makes a very solid play and gets it into 3rd down. John, quarterbacks take growth steps at different points in their career. Matt Ryan, before that Giants game, remember they lost to Carolina, he came out, told his teammates that Monday, I want 30 minutes or an hour more from everybody. Film, weight room. He's taking those leadership steps in addition to his play.
And his play speaks for itself. He can throw the ball anywhere he wants on the field. You've seen that tonight. Short, intermediate, or deep. He's a master of this Falcon offense, but down he goes here.
First time Lions get pressure on him tonight, and Ndamukong Suh, along with Lawrence Jackson, meeting at the quarterback for their first sack of the night.
That's what this Detroit Lion football team needs to do. They need to turn on their pass rush. And Ndamukong Suh, we talked about right guard Peter Kahns, number 66. He doesn't have a lot of playing strength. He's a former center at Wisconsin. He's pressed into service at right guard. And that's a real question, I think, for Kahns at right guard. Can he handle the power rush? That time he didn't.
Matt Bosher kicks to Stephon Logan. Not his best kick. Logan fields a 44-yarder. He called for a fair catch. He was trying to tell his guys to stay away. When you make a fair catch signal, it's be clear over your head.
The ruling on the field is that the receiver signals for fair catch. The ball is dead upon possession. First down, Detroit, timeout.
And Logan gave a confusing, unclear signal on it. So instead of the room to run, it's another error. John, 90 yards for Calvin Johnson, 3rd most receiving yards in a single season. He's getting close to Jerry Rice's record. You coached Jerry Rice, San Francisco, and then later in Oakland. Any similarities you can share?
There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
They're real fast. They're real talented. They can run all the routes. And they're at their best in critical moments. The only big difference is Jerry did it on championship caliber teams. Calvin's doing a lot of his damage, but this is a team that has lost 6 straight games. I know it's killing Calvin Johnson, but 2 great players and 2 great people.
First down, and Matthew Stafford throws complete. Tony Scheffler, the tight end, gains 5 yards. So we mentioned Johnson has set the Lions single season record. He's moved to the 3rd all-time in receiving yards, and he now is within 92 yards of breaking Jerry Rice's record. Halfway there already tonight. We'll be joined by Jerry Rice in the second half via phone. Mikel Shore seeks the space to the right. And a very short gain, if anything.
You know, you talk a lot about statistics, and I know my kids play fantasy football. I know a lot of people that do, but the reality is, Mike, the Lions have gained over 1,000 yards, or close to 1,000 yards more than their opponent. But the statistics don't win you games.
Right.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day. There's only one statistic that I know a lot of these Lion fans care about, and it's winning. And the Lions have not been able to do it, and you can just sense the disappointment all weekend here in Detroit.
3rd and 3. Stafford comes back to Johnson, second option, who lost the football as a flag goes down. And there goes Robert McLean, taken down by Stafford at the 40-yard line. Calvin Johnson has lost a couple of fumbles this year as well. Lost that one. We had a flag down. It's probably a pre-snap, maybe a formation foul with Detroit.
Illegal formation. Offense, 6 men on the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a fumble recovered by Atlanta. First down.
So that is the 3rd fumble lost by Calvin Johnson this year, and the 2nd turnover of the night for Detroit.
How about John Abraham, 34 years old in his 13th season, dislodging this football. Just keep an eye on number 55. He's dropping into coverage, and he knows how to strip the ball out. Impact player. He has over 10 sacks this year, 5 batted down passes, another forced fumble. Man, is he clutch. He's a big reason I'm out of coaching. We couldn't block him.
Great call by the official there live, as Johnson didn't have a knee down, so it's a golden opportunity for Atlanta to really deliver a big sucker punch to Detroit. First down run off the left side for Michael Turner. Gains 8 to the 32-yard line.
This Michael Turner quietly looks like he's heating up. He hasn't carried the ball much this year, Mike. Here goes Ryan into the up-tempo. He senses the Lions are in a very sensitive, bad mood. He's going for the knockout punch.
Great part of this offensive package this year. Turner, Justin Durant with the tackle, but it's a yard too late. And it's a first down for the Falcons.
I like what Matt Ryan can do. He can up the tempo whenever he wants. Dirk Cutter gives Ryan a lot of flexibility in this system. He has complete trust in Ryan's ability to decipher the defense and get the Falcons into a good play. Here they are in a no-back set.
Got a chance to show what Detroit was looking at, and now adjust the play. Haven't called Gonzalez's name much yet. Ryan taking another shot deep downfield, and Julio Jones battling Louis Delmas, the safety, and that ends the consecutive completion streak at 22.
Well, they've been running this route against cover 2 all year. It's going to be a little square in. This time he's going after Delmas with the double move, and Delmas isn't buying it. But Ryan wanted that route against a split safety look. Excellent job by Ryan, but a much better play by Delmas.
Ryan will join the group tied 3rd all-time, 22 consecutive completions. And now facing 2nd and 10. Delays a Quiz Rogers. Pelican Levy will make the tackle after the penetration by Vanden Bosch.
Really important that this Detroit Lion defense finds a way to get a stop. A lot of unsettled business on this Lion defense as they head towards the offseason. 8 unsigned free agents. Vanden Bosch is one of them. They got to earn the right to return to this organization.
3rd and 10. Ryan has to check it back down one more time. And look at the head down, shoulders forward, Jacquizz Rodgers. First down run.
That's an NFL play right there. He knew exactly where the first down was. No pitter-pattering. Just north and south decisive finish by Rodgers to get the first down.
Gain of 11 as we hit the 2-minute warning. And Atlanta in the red zone trying to add to an 11-point lead. Chris Berman, Chris Mortensen, Adam Schefter, Saturday night duty for the Toyota halftime show. Boomer will talk about the young quarterbacks who have very big Week 16 games tomorrow. An update on Ray Lewis's status before that Baltimore Giants game. Conversation with Carmelo Anthony as we head towards our big Christmas Day 5-pack of games on ESPN and ABC. 1st and 10 Atlanta in the red zone, trying to make the most of the Calvin Johnson fumble. Matt Ryan just shovels it. Turner, Tulloch the tackle.
That's another screen. That's about the 5th different screen we've seen tonight. That time the line slides one way, and Michael Turner is going to bluff this defensive end, and they're just going to flip the ball to Turner and hope he can run behind Claybo's block. Well defended by the Lions, but Dirk Cutter continues to throw screens against this Lions zone defense with great success.
Second and 9, 3 receivers to the right. Ryan goes that way for Julio Jones. Did he tap his toes? Yes, touchdown. What an acrobatic job by Jones if he got them both down.
Well, I'll say it's double trouble if you're an opposing team when you got to defend these 2 receivers. Give it to him.
Oh, good. What a play. And he went all the way to the ground, maintained possession as he completed the act of the catch. Not just going to the ground, but hitting
talking so much about
area in the back.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about Calvin Johnson, rightfully so, but Julio Jones and Roddy White are telling us, hey, we're the best receivers on this field tonight. And Chris Houston continues to struggle at cornerback against these monster receivers of the Falcons.
If it stands, it's 3 touchdowns on the night for Ryan, a career best 30th on the season. And confirmed upstairs in the booth. What a throw by Ryan to the only spot it could go, but times 10 on the catch by the second-year man out of Alabama, Julio Jones. Third time, Matt Bryant on for the extra point. And it is 21-3 for the second time. The Lions turn it over, and Ryan makes him pay with a touchdown. Such a good team in a 2-minute offense over the years, and they jumped into their no huddle for the early part of that drive and getting the score. And again, the personnel groupings that can mess with the defense on display on that drive.
It's not just the personnel groupings, it's the personnel.
Right.
But Dirk Cutter is using a lot of what we call 11 personnel. I'm going to quiz you now. 11 personnel, that's 1 back, 1 tight end. How many receivers?
3.
That's exactly right. So you have Tony Gonzalez and you have Jacquizz Rodgers. There's your 1 and there's your 1. There's your 11. Here's your 3 receivers. Roddy White. You have Harry Douglas, and they isolate Julio Jones on a double move against Chris Houston. It's really not fair. Watch him break to the inside. He takes it up the field. But where's Gonzalez? Where's Jacquizz Rodgers? Holy cow, there goes Julio Jones. It's not just the personnel groupings. It's how Dirk Cutter uses them, and it's how good this personnel is. This kid right here is a rising star in pro football.
His addition has really done, as we were saying before, so much. It's tapped into that fountain of youth for Gonzalez to have his great season with 87 catches at age 36. It's allowed them to do so many of those personnel grouping things and just keep a defense paralyzed. And Matt Ryan's 15 of 16 tonight.
He's not bad either.
21-3. Stephon Logan from the goal line. has added very little in the return game this year for Detroit. And brought down at the 15-yard line. Just that one incompletion on the drive, but here is the night for Ryan if you're just tuning in. It was a 3rd and 1 downfield toss to Roddy White for 44. And then a catch and a Roddy run for 39 in the second quarter. Perfect throw to Jones. Julio, how about those great hands and the ability to hold onto the ball all the way going to the ground and hitting that partition back there. In the end zone. Stafford 2-minute drill. Joyce Bell gains 5. Brought down by Robert McClain, the corner.
Atlanta's got to do everything they can to get John Abraham in a position to rush against Jeff Backus. This is where Abraham's at his best.
Those are 22 career sacks. Stafford throws complete to Chris Durham. Durham out of Georgia, played 3 games with the Seahawks last year, was on the practice squad. He roomed with Stafford for a time when they were both at the University of Georgia. And with all the injuries, a guy who you didn't think you'd see on the active squad has been a starting receiver here in December.
And when that clock stops in a 2-minute drill, this is when you see a lot of blitzing from the Atlanta Falcons.
Stafford empties out the backfield. Tries to throw quickly to Calvin Johnson. Abraham got up there to begin with, and Weatherspoon back in the secondary. Spoon coming up to make the play.
This kid is special. Remember, Witherspoon is the man that hit Robert Griffin and knocked him out of the game. Not maliciously. He's just a natural explosive hitter. Sideline to sideline ability. And once again, that green dot on the back of his helmet allows him to hear the calls from the sidelines and communicate the defense to his Falcon teammates. Dynamic player.
You can see his joy and passion for the game as he's walking around the field there. Stafford with the throw, caught by Calvin Johnson. Over 100 yards is Johnson to the 44-yard line. So Johnson takes it over 100 yards and sets a couple of NFL records just by hitting that milestone alone. Timeout.
Great job on just a bend in, going up and getting it. Nice timing, good anticipation. You see Will Heller trying to clear out the deep zone. It's amazing what this man has done, given the fact that so many of his Lions skilled teammates are out. That production, that's rare right there, Mike.
Yeah, there it is, John, with that catch of 22 yards. 8 games over 100 yards in a row. That's an NFL record. And he ties Michael Irvin for 11. And the fans hear that announcement and give Johnson a standing ovation here in Detroit.
Now, I saw Barry Sanders play here live when I was coaching. He had the town eaten out of his palm of his hand. And Calvin Johnson, Mike, there's not a Lion fan that comes through these doors that doesn't pay to see Megatron.
He's going to have a legitimate chance at that Rice number in this game. He is 65 yards away. Stafford throws underneath Joyce Bell with the catch. Stopped on the dime. Witherspoon took the ball away from him. The official wants it back with 25 seconds left.
You better have your head on a swivel when you catch the ball inside against the Atlanta Falcons, because Witherspoon is on a mission right now for Atlanta.
From the 37, only 13 seconds left. And a timeout. The blitz comes. Stafford throws. Caught by Durham. Down at the 20. Timeout taken. 7 seconds left.
Great throw by Stafford against the blitz. His former Georgia Bulldog teammate. Durham on a little seam post. But here comes a blitz off the right side. Stafford sees it, hangs in there, and makes a perfect throw to Durham. That's going to set up Hansen for another field goal. But once again, Mike, a lot of yards, and it's going to result in very few points.
Fans unhappy with 7 seconds left. Is there time at the 20 to take one shot?
I think it's the right call here. Get some points. They've got to get some stops on defense.
Jason Hansen good from 34. This will be a 38-yard field goal attempt. one of the best in the history of the league. One of the reasons he's had so many opportunities over the years are Lion offenses that stall when they get inside the 30-yard line. And there have been a lot of Jason Hanson field goal attempts over the years. 30 for 34 on the season. So Calvin Johnson's tote board, it's almost like watching a telethon, watching the numbers add up. 1784. Needs 65 yards to break the record of Jerry Rice. Jerry will join us in the second half. And Greg, remember what Lisa said at the start of the game, that she talked to Calvin Johnson on the field before the game, and he had mentioned just the thought, the concept of a 2,000 receiving yard season. And, you know, was he joking? No, he gave her a big smile. He keeps getting 100 yards a half. You're going to get there. They got Chicago in here next week.
Yeah, and the way Julio Jones and Roddy White look tonight, might not take them long to get to 1,800 either. Got a lot of great receivers in this game. We haven't even mentioned Tony Gonzalez much, but most of the top 10 receivers are here tonight. Should squib this kick and go to the locker room. Nothing risky.
Atlanta gets the ball to start the third quarter. It is squibbed by Hanson, fielded by Jason Snelling, and a half comes to an end. 21-6, the Falcons on top. They made the most of the Detroit turnovers. Johnson chases the record in the second half. The Falcons chase the 1 seed. We send you to Chris Berman, Toyota halftime show.
Let's get rocking.
Having the Rolling Stones, part of their 50th anniversary celebration, part of our Monday Night Football season. 21-6, Atlanta leads Detroit. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters on the sideline. Atlanta's play and their distribution of the ball to a variety of receivers, part of the story all night, and we saw it on all 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah, Matt Ryan is the trigger man. He puts the ball right on the money. The first one was a short yardage play after a penalty, and it's a double move to Roddy White. But great ball handling. It lures the free safety carry into the pile, and just a little stutter go by Roddy White. He beats Chris Houston, and the throw is right on the money. The second one, they bring in Drew Davis, a blocking wide receiver, and they fake the toss right at him. The linebackers go with the action. They throw the quick screen. He gets a block from Gonzalez and Sam Baker, and he's off to the races. And then the third one was a double move to Julio Jones, but Roddy White ran down the middle to hold the safety, and Julio Jones does the rest. But how about the throw and the tap dance that Julio Jones put forth at the end of that play? Great receivers, great design, and the quarterback is on fire.
And against a Detroit team that has turned it over a lot this year and continued that -2 in the first half, and both turnovers turned into Falcon touchdowns.
Well, they're -11 in the turnover ratio. LeSure early in the game in good field position, coughs the ball up, and Ndamukong Suh jumps off sides and sets up a short yardage shot play to Roddy White. And then, as many yards as Megatron has, he fumbles the ball in Falcon territory. You're not going to win in this league when you commit penalties and turn the ball over. It's done the Lions in from day one this year.
Yep. It's part of the reason they've lost 6 games in a row. And you think about it, especially in this building, the last 3 times they've played, they've been close. They've had the lead, Jim Schwartz's team, at the 2-minute warning against playoff-bound teams in all likelihood, Green Bay, Indianapolis, and Houston. But they've given up those touchdowns late. Here it's a huge hole at 21-6. And kicking to Atlanta with Jason Hanson to start the third. Turn from 5 yards deep. And Rodgers will bring it up just past the 20-yard line to the 21. And here's Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike, well, I asked Jim Schwartz what he did not like about that first half, and he said the turnovers. He said we gave up 14 points on turnovers, and that's the difference in the game. He said offensively we're moving the ball well, but defensively we got to stop the bleeding somehow. We gave up way too many big plays with poor tackling. for Mike Smith, I asked him if he had any concerns. He said, yeah, that they scored. Even though it was a field goal at the end of the first half, he said, it's now a two-possession game. I asked him if he cared at all if Calvin Johnson breaks that record tonight. He says, hey, he's a great player. I don't care at all as long as we end up with one more point than they have.
Yeah, because it's home for as long as the Falcons play on the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC playoffs. First carry, Michael Turner brings it out to the 25-yard line.
Turner's gotten a lot of work tonight, Mike. They love to run this zone running scheme. Mike Cox, the fullback, is Turner's escort, but he's been rather quiet this year. We're used to seeing Turner at the top of the league in yardage. His attempts are down, his yardage is down, but clearly you have to have a plan to stop Michael Turner because the Falcons will commit to him if you can.
This is 2nd and 6. John's right back to Turner, and Dominican Sue makes one of those plays that Mike Smith was telling us this week he's worried about. A very penetrating Lions defense. A lot of times they can make a good play look ugly quickly.
All right, guard Peter Kahns, we've talked about him. He's a rookie. The front is going to move. Watch the movement in the Detroit Lion front. Sue spikes to the inside, and Kahns, he's not ready for Ndamukong Suh. Sue got him on a bull pass rush for a sack that time. Beat him bad to the inside.
Lions twist, bring pressure to Ryan, who bails and just throws towards Roddy White. Incomplete. So it's a rare scene from Detroit's defense trying to heat it up with pressure from the safety Don Carey.
Credit Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator. They're going to come with a lot of Detroit Lions after Matt Ryan on this first third down to start the second half. Ryan under serious duress throws it up to Roddy White. Impact 3 and out for the Lions. Let's see if Logan can do something with his punt return.
Maybe he can figure out how not to make a fair catch signal and then catch the ball. He was completely in the wrong last time. Matt Bosher turns it over to the sideline. Where it's marked out, the kick was 40 on a nose. It's Lion ball at the 40 when you come back. Johnson heading for a record perhaps.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. ESPNshop.com, where you can get all of your official NFL sideline gear. And State Farm for auto, home, life, and banking. Get to a better state.
Tonight's aerial coverage from downtown Detroit is brought to you by DirecTV. The Hall of Famer is the mayor of this city, Dave Bing, great basketball star. Mayor of Detroit. First down from the 40. Matthew Stafford pumps it, sidearm swing as Will Heller. It's a dozen first down yards. Another awkward delivery that Stafford's really good at, John.
He's really good at a lot of things. That time it's a bootleg to his right. Looking for a shot play down the field, but as you say, he comes out and awkwardly gets the ball to Will Heller. That's hard to do. Sensing passing lanes, and how would you like to have a 24-year-old quarterback that's thrown for 12,000 yards and 77 touchdowns? A lot of great days ahead for Matt Stafford.
Mike Ellishore next to him. The second year back. He's not really playing his first season because he was out all last year with an Achilles injury with no game. So John Stafford is now 1 year left in his rookie deal. Going back to the old days when the draft packages were very big for those early first overall picks. And the Lions will have to redo his contract at some point, whether it's next year during his last season or beyond that. But clearly with Stafford and Johnson, it's a team that has some great pieces to build around.
No doubt about that, Mike.
And the movement will cost 5. John Abraham says I was guilty.
Defense, number 55, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
And there's a man that does not stand for penalties. He's got these 5 pillars of success, and stopping penalties is one of them. And you have to be able to change the snap count against these premier pass rushers. They live for long yardage situations, and there he is making a note. Abraham, 55. He's going to point that out tomorrow in the meeting. I know he is.
He does. They really call you out in the meetings for your individual penalties in review. As you saw, they averaged about 3.5 a game, 3 here tonight. LaFleur on the toss. Charles the lineman blocking for him. And LeSure with a first down run to the 33.
Riley Reef, the blocking tight end, the extra tackle that comes into the game, number 71, with a nice down block on Babineau and good traffic running by LeSure. Chris Hope knocks him out of bounds. Important that the Lions finish this drive. They've moved the ball as they always appear to do, but they just seem to find a way to make a mistake to stymie these drives.
Shore took that helmet-to-helmet hit on the tackle, but because he was a runner, there's no helmet-to-helmet foul, as you would see with a defenseless receiver, quote-unquote. LeSure takes it for 3 yards on first down to the 30-yard line. So Calvin Johnson's first half, 6 catches, 117 yards, has him at 1784. He started the night 8th all-time single-season receiving yards. He's already to 2nd, past Isaac Bruce with his last catch. So a chance to approach Jerry Rice's record mark here tonight. And one more game after tonight in here a week from tomorrow against Chicago. Second down, Stafford throw. And it's caught by Mike Thomas, a couple yards shy of the first down.
And Atlanta has been fairly cautious. I think we both expected a lot more blitzing tonight. But they've been rushing forward, and they've been playing a lot of zone coverage on this drive. And Stafford has picked them apart quietly. He's 17 for 21. And this is an area, short yardage, without a true fullback. It's not a strong suit for the Lions.
And that has been their story over the last few years. No true fullback. The ability to line up and pound these 3rd and 2s out. The quick throws on time and on target to Megatron.
We asked Calvin Johnson, Mike, what's your favorite route? You can clearly run any pattern in the book, but what's the signature Calvin Johnson route? He says it's a slant route. What a great job with his inside arm, clubbing Robinson off of his body to create separation. How'd you like to have that wingspan to throw to? Jerry Rice, Calvin Johnson, you ask both of them what their favorite route is or was, they're going to tell you it's the slant pattern.
131-51 from the Rice record. Detroit trying to drive and make it a one-score game. Stafford, it is LeSure. He's brought down as Dante Robinson came up from his corner position and made the initial hit.
That's the coverage I recognize. This 2 deep, 4 under, 5 under zone, I should say. Tampa 2, some people call it. If you play the coverage and run the mic down the pipe, you have to have corners that can tackle, because you're going to give up some completions, but it helps when you have impact tacklers that can limit yardage after the catch, and Robinson gets paid a lot of money to make tackles as well as cover people.
And this is where the defenses get creative against Calvin Johnson down here in the confined space inside the 10. LeSure a run. He'll get to the 5-yard line. Detroit can get a first down at the 1.
Well, these are the looks that LeSure has to learn to take advantage of. Barry Sanders, if he played for the Lions today and saw some of these boxes, they're doubling Megatron, they're rolling coverage all over the place. LeSure, somebody has to take advantage of these light boxes and run the ball.
Let's forget Barry, because he's not walking through that door anytime soon. But a better running back should be able to take advantage of that.
I think so.
Yeah. 3rd and 4. Calvin Johnson, bottom of the screen. Stafford underneath Stephon Logan. Depending on the mark, we'll see how close he is. Spot looks a hair friendly, and it'll be a Detroit first down. The official chains are on that side, the near side.
Little option routes. Witherspoon one-on-one with Logan. Logan breaks to the outside. The ball's thrown accurately, and I think he got the first down without a doubt.
Number 71 is eligible. 71.
This is always fun to watch, how they get to handle Calvin Johnson on the 1-yard line. I promise you, they're not going to sing it.
Lions made a couple of big mistakes in the red zone last week against Arizona. It's LaSure up the middle for the touchdown.
Ball game. Great drive by the Lions. You have to credit Jim Schwartz and the Lion coaching staff for motivating their football team. Get a 3-and-out on defense. Watch Riley Reef on the old wham play. Well executed on the goal line.
That is touchdown number 9 on the season for Michael LaSure. And Hanson on for the extra point. You said it in break. You know, Matthew Stafford's had a pretty good game. We're paying attention to the Johnson record, the Lions' mistakes. Stafford led a good drive there, completing all 5. LaSure for the 9th time this year in the end zone. Got a ball game in Detroit. Hope you are with us for our Christmas Day tradition. The NBA on ESPN and ABC, Celtics in Brooklyn, the Knicks and Lakers will be in Miami for a rematch of the finals, the Thunder and the Heat. Then in primetime back here on ESPN, James Harden and the Rockets against the Chicago Bulls, and a doubleheader in LA, the Nuggets and Clippers. So Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy going to knock out 2 games on Christmas Day. We look forward to having you with us on ESPN and ABC. 5 NBA games as our Christmas Day tradition continues. No catches here for Tony Gonzalez thus far tonight. 7 minutes left in the opener of Week 16. It's a 1-possession game. Hanson's kickoff bounces at the 1. Effective with the placement of that kick. Quiz Rogers touchback. Check out Matt Ryan and the Falcon offense after this. Atlanta's got 2 shots on their own to get the number 1 seed and home field throughout the NFC playoffs. It's tonight, get a win, or next week against Tampa Bay. And also a series of losses by the contending teams, San Francisco and Green Bay this week, would help the Falcons. Ryan taking a shot for Julio Jones. Well covered, goes up in the air, and it's incomplete as the combination of Don Perry and Chris Houston cover Jones.
Well, Detroit continues the blitz. Ryan saw one-on-one coverage, took a shot, and they continue to go after Chris Houston on the outside. Julio's got to leave a little bit more room for Matt to throw the ball to from the sideline, but Ryan goes down again, and Ndamukong Suh for the 2nd time knocks down Ryan. And this roar has been restored here in Detroit. The crowd is back in the game, Mike.
Mostly full house, very few no-shows here, trying to urge the defense on. Ryan hit as he throws multiple flags down as the pass is caught by White, who's eventually touchdown at the 34-yard line.
I've seen him complete a lot of balls, but Jonte Green knocked down Roddy White, and they still complete the ball. Ryan threw this ball when Roddy was on the ground.
The game was 14. The pressure eventually got to Ryan as well. Gene Steratore.
2 fouls by the defense. Holding. Defense number 23. Penalties declined. Also holding. Defense number 36. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, 1st down.
Take a look at Roddy White against Jonte Green, the rookie. Roddy's on the ground, and Matt threw the ball with the assumption Roddy would get up and play it. We'll see that often.
Levine tells the linebacker who's playing games with Ryan, who throws on the slant, and it's in and out of the hands of Jones. Again, the coverage by Green. John, they thought this was going to be a redshirt year for Green, that at most he'd play special teams. He's starting at corner.
Well, they like him because he's a big corner with long arms. I like what Gunther Cunningham said. He says Jonte Green doesn't even know who he's covering. Julio Jones, Andre Johnson, he just lines up. If it's man-to-man, he plays man-to-man. Just cover number 11. That's who Julio Jones is to Jonte Green, but got a lot of raw ability.
2nd and 10. Ryan throws. What the catch. Roddy White, he's one of the great hands catchers in the league. It never gets in his body. Always out and snatches that ball.
Like a Human fly trap. Honestly, that's an amazing catch. Roddy White finds the ball early. It allows him to play it. Exceptionally strong hands. All these Falcon receivers, if you ever watch them in training camp, they all catch 1,000 passes a day with Tony Gonzalez. A lot of pride in their work.
Quiet for Gonzalez, who's caught a ball in 193 consecutive games. Second longest in the history of the NFL. Nothing yet. Another shot for Jones. Couldn't locate the ball, so they're trying to go after the Lions' corners. It's taken more time. They're getting pressure on Ryan. The Atlanta offense stagnant to start this second half.
You got to give Chris Houston credit. Got beat a couple times in the first half. You're going to see man-to-man coverage. Ryan looks off the free safety and goes deep to Julio Jones again, one-on-one with Chris Houston. That's the second time in this possession the former Falcon stands up.
Matt Bosher to punt one more time. Logan awaits the punt. Fair caught after 48 yards. At the 14-yard line, Detroit will take over. Calvin Johnson going for Jerry Rice's record. When we come back, we'll talk to the greatest receiver of all time on Monday Night Football. Detroit within 8 of Atlanta. Calvin Johnson within 51 yards of Jerry Rice, the Hall of Famer. Our ESPN colleague joins us on the phone. Jerry, are you nervous that the record might go down here tonight?
It's going to go down. This guy's just really amazing, and just watching him go out there and just do his thing on the football field. You know, he's a true talent, and that's why they call him Megatron.
Where are you on individual records and your pride in having it and not wanting to see it broken here tonight or next week?
Well, you know, you never want your record to be broken, but if anyone is going to do it, I would prefer Megatron to do it, because I think this guy is not only trying to break my record, but he's trying to get to 2,000 yards, which I tried to get to 2,000 yards, and I was not successful at it, and I think he's going to do it.
Hang on with Jerry. First down. Matthew Stafford down 8 to Michael LaSure. Out of the backfield, John. It's a good gain of 8 yards.
Hey, Jerry, you're one of the great students of all time. When you watch Calvin Johnson at 6'5" run routes with this kind of success, how do you explain that, and what do you think makes that possible?
Well, I think I just sit back and I'm just like a fan, because he can run every route from the slant route to run by you with that 4.35 speed. Then he can out-jump you, where he can, you know, just get up in the air and just levitate his body and make those incredible catches. So this guy, he has all the tools, and I think if they surround him the right way, he's going to be around a long time.
Good job by LaSure to run for the first down at the 26-yard line.
Let me show you something, Jerry. I got some cut-ups I brought here. I told these guys your favorite route was the slant route. Here you are on Monday Night Football in that shred game running a slant route. How about this slant route by Calvin with that inside arm?
Yeah, you know, because you want the defensive back to think that you're going outside. So it's almost like you have to be an actor. Then you slap the guy and get back inside. You know, when I came to the line of scrimmage, I always knew exactly how I wanted to attack the defensive back. And for some reason, I could always get that separation where the ball can just be thrown right in there.
Stafford first down throw here. Jerry. Tony Scheffler, the tight end, with the catch. He gains a couple of yards. We'll let you get back to what you're doing this Christmas weekend. Merry Christmas. We enjoy having you on the ESPN team, and I know you're going to sit back and watch the rest of this game to see how long you're going to hold the record, Jerry.
Well, you know, the thing about this, I believe records are meant to be broken, and like I said, I'll be the first one to really congratulate this guy, because I know what he stands for. He's a hard worker. He got the major contract, and he's still hungry, and he wants to get out there and prove to everybody, look, I'm the best receiver to play the game. And the thing that I really liked also, he said, we have a chance to do something special. So that right there told me that, you know, it's not an individual thing, it's a team concept.
The man who has 208 total touchdowns in NFL history, Jerry Rice. Jerry, thanks. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Hey,
Jerry.
thanks for having me, guys. Merry Christmas.
Anytime. Run by LaSure gives the Lions a 3rd down and 4 here with 3:13 left in the third. This Falcon defense trying to slow down Matthew Stafford, who has hit his last 10 passes.
Megatron in the slot at the bottom of the screen, working against Deku, a safety man.
It's a three-man rush. There is Johnson over the middle, catch and run. Calvin Johnson takes it for the first down to the 41-yard line. And getting ever closer. It's a gain of 26. He's within 25.
Put him in the slot where he has a two-way go. Calvin Johnson with Logan outside of him, pushes it up to 12 to 14, breaks it inside. Ball's thrown a foot in front of Calvin's numbers, and when he catches the ball in a position to run with it, fun to watch. A lot of this yardage, Mike, is after the catch, much like Jerry Rice did in his heyday. They can take a short pass and do a lot of damage with it.
Fans in Detroit chanting Calvin. He's 25 yards away as LaSure runs for 3. And perhaps more significantly here, from the Falcons' perspective, and the Lions are on the move here with 2 minutes left in the third, trying to get within one or tie this game.
Well, the Falcons have been criticized by a lot of people. They haven't played a tough schedule. Remember, Arizona took Atlanta to the brink. The Oakland Raiders in Atlanta had this team, the Falcons, on the brink. They lost to Carolina convincingly a couple weeks ago, and Carolina could have swept the Falcons. They have to prove that this 12-2 record is for real, and this is the time you prove it, late in December.
The 38-yard line. Stafford loading up. Fort Johnson caught it at the 18-yard line. It's a gain of 20 yards.
I think Mike Nolan's trying to double him, doing everything he can. They're going to cut underneath the Calvin. You see Chris Hope, number 24. You see Samuel, number 22. They've got him high, they've got him low, and the ball is thrown exactly where Calvin wants it.
Officially a gain of 21. Johnson 4 away from that record. And the fans sensing it rise to their feet here. Back behind the end zone. Lions driving for a touchdown as well. There's Stafford swinging it to LaSure. Nice catch by LaSure. Stopped on the dime. Made a man miss. LaSure. First and goal, Detroit. Inside the 10.
That's what I want to see from LaSure. It's a scan screen. Scan screen. It looks like LaSure is going to come across the formation to pick up a blitz, but he slides across the formation on a screen pass. Picks up a block from Peterman. Does a nice job in the open field. How about that delivery, Mike? Dan Quisenberry used to pitch for the Kansas City Royals like Stafford. He could throw the ball from the strangest positions I've ever seen.
It'll end the quarter. Lions down 8 on the move. Calvin Johnson within 4 yards of Jerry Rice's all-time single-season receiving yardage record on Monday Night Football. Success, individual success, parallel storylines tonight. Off we'll go to the fourth quarter from Detroit. Calvin Johnson 4 yards away from Jerry Rice's record. John, it was week 16, Monday Night Football against the Falcons last year, but we saw Drew Brees set the single season record for passing yards. Now Calvin Johnson a chance to set the single season record for receiving yards as his Lions try to get closer to the Falcons. Stafford, play action, first down, scanning, pointing, flipping it away. Where's the Atlanta defense, John, that you've been telling us you got to watch their confusion? Where's that been here tonight?
I don't know. They've been very generic. That time, Stafford's going to fake the ball and try to lure the Falcons forward and try to get Calvin on a little delayed slant and go. Excellent work by Thomas Deku, the safety of the Falcons, but I am surprised the way the Lions have thrown the football. Stafford 25 out of 30, but the Falcons haven't done much with their blitz package.
Stafford had hit his prior 13 until that incompletion. Second and goal, it is LaSure with Peterman the guard pulling. And LaSure pinballs for only a very slow pull out of there by Peterman. Never really got to a block.
And again, Witherspoon makes a hit that you can hear up here in the rafters. Watch 56. wrap and finish. I love to see a linebacker that runs through ball carriers. And Witherspoon's one of the best I've seen. Missed a few games earlier with an ankle injury. Third and goal.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson comes to the bottom. Asante Samuel with safety help. Stafford, quarterback draw. Stafford stopped by Corey Peters. Matthew, who has run in 4 touchdowns this year, stopped there. Lions send the field goal unit on, and the fans say bah humbug to that.
One of the things you have to do in these open formations when there's no backs is be alert for the quarterback draw. That time it's an excellent play by Peters, number 91, separating from a block and making a critical tackle.
Again, Stephen Peterman couldn't get his block. Is the right move going for a field goal here?
I think so.
Chip shot. That is the 3rd field goal on the night. 20-yarder for Jason Hanson. Johnson within 4. His team within 5. Mike Smith's team, 4th quarter lead. Usually solid gold. 55 straight when leading by 6 or more as they were to start this 4th quarter. A last loss December 24, Christmas Eve of 05. Who was coaching that game?
I tell you what, I remember Chris Sims taking us down the field, setting up Matt Bryant for a game winner. That was a great day. Seems like a long time ago.
It was a Chris Sims-led win, huh?
It sure was. Beat Michael Vick late in the year.
Cadillac Williams had a big run late in regulation to tie it, and then Matt Bryant, who is now the kicker for the Falcons, with a 41-yarder in overtime. So Ndamukong Suh and the Lions defense blanked Atlanta in the 3rd quarter and has allowed the offense to score the last 10. The last 13 going back to the 2nd frame as well. Hanson kickoffs with good hang time. And a yard deep. And brought out by Jaquiz Rogers. Shouldered down. Don Carey made the hit at 21. Minute 40 gone by in the 4th.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by the LG Optimus G. Tell us tonight's game changer at #GrudenGrinder. And NFL Playoff Challenge. Thought your fantasy season was over? It is not. Sign up at NFL.com/fantasy.
During the year, you've seen the face of every person on our core crew that's traveled across the country, spent half the week for the last 20 weeks away from their family to bring you Monday Night Football. Best crew, best family to be on the road with. We love you all. Appreciate the season together. First down run, Michael Turner with a solid game. What does this game mean? It's very simple for Atlanta. Win, and the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC goes through the ATL. Atlanta, San Francisco, and Green Bay are in. Now, those are the teams in control of their own destiny going into the last 2 weeks. Seattle, Washington, Dallas, and the Giants. You may see Minnesota in the playoff picture right now as a 6th seed, but they don't control their own destiny. Those other teams we showed you, Seattle and the 3 in the NFC East, do. Okay, we take a timeout. They make a change late. Okay, wow, for 4 and 10, this place is loud. Fans into this game.
Lions are going to keep heating Matt Ryan up with blitzes.
Falcons shut out here in this 2nd half. Only run 9 snaps. 1 first down and 23 yards. 2nd and 4 out of timeout. Lions bring pressure again, and Ryan throws high for Gonzalez. Incomplete.
Make no mistake about this game plan in the 2nd half for Detroit. Defensively, they are coming repeatedly after Matt Ryan. It's one-on-one coverage, and Don Carey breaks on it, goes up high and makes a play on the ball. Big 3rd down here, and expect pressure from the Detroit Lions. They've showed great confidence in their corners. Houston at the top of the screen. Jonte Green, the rookie, at the bottom, and Drayton Florence in the slot. They've showed no fear in the 2nd half.
Gonzalez still without a catch. Ryan throwing off his back foot, caught by Roddy. What a throw that was. Front of Delmas, first down.
What a throw is right, Mike. Detroit comes right up the middle with a swarm of Lions. And watch Matt Ryan throw this ball falling backward to Roddy White on a deep cross. That's amazing right there. Wow. Great release by Roddy White, one-on-one with Drayton Florence. Hard guy to press. Roddy White, a former state wrestling champ. You got to be careful getting too close.
White,
Roddy, hope he's all right.
Yeah, he's dinged. 7 catches, 139 yards. He's off. They bring in the fullback, Mike Cox, on first down. Ryan throws the slant to Julio Jones. Takes Jonte Green for a ride to the first down line at the 45.
It's one thing that Terry Robisky, the receiver coach of the Falcons, loves. They have a running play called. They're going to hand the ball to the back with a pulling guard, but they build a bullet slant in on the backside, and Matt Ryan has the freedom to hand the ball off or throw it to Julio Jones. That time he saw the numbers to the strong side. He said, I'll fire it back to the weak side.
Now ready to take another one to Julio. He's got it again. It's so hard to pull down. And you're right. We talk about Calvin Johnson, his success. We're not taking away from his numbers, but Julio Jones is emerging as that kind of a dominating physical receiver.
Well, we saw Atlanta early in the season before the Bronco game on the practice field. We walked through the locker room. We said, who is that? They said, that's Julio Jones. I said, wow, I wish I coached Julio Jones. 6'4.5", 230 pounds, can really run, loves the game, and is well coached.
Sammy Hill out for Detroit off the defensive line. Andre Fluellen is in. They got it in the hands of Jones again on the reverse. Hit once. Can't get away from half a dozen guys in Honolulu blue and silver.
Good defense by Detroit. Fake the inside handoff, hand the end around to Julio Jones, and number 54, DeAndre Levy, isn't buying it. But you're going to see the ball fake to Jaquiz Rogers, hand it over the top, and DeAndre Levy forces it back inside where his help is. Here comes a host of Detroit Lions. Nice defense.
Seven on the play clock.
Little bend in down here to Julio Jones, I promise you.
Jonte Green, the corner, covering him. Ryan going to take off against that man coverage. The slide goes forward, doesn't slide, gets the max yardage out of it, and he's 1 yard shy of the first down.
That's one of the things that Matt Ryan does surprisingly well. He keeps plays alive with his legs. No back formation. Lions scatter in coverage. They don't take care of the pocket, and Matt Ryan has the functional mobility to get positive yards.
John, this is a problem down in distance, 3rd and 1. They went deep and got a touchdown to Roddy White earlier. They're only 44% converting 3rd or 4th and 1. Extra lineman Mike Johnson. They're going to throw in short yardage again and pick it up with Gonzalez, who keeps his consecutive game streak rolling. 194th consecutive game he's caught a pass.
He can run routes that wide receivers run. That's a sprint to the right. And watch Gonzalez come out of motion, square his shoulders, back Durant off, and win on the quick out. That's just a great job of using your hands. But the other thing Gonzalez never does is he never fumbles a football. I bet it's been 10 years since he's fumbled a ball.
All right. Second all-time in receptions, NFL history, behind Jerry Rice. Keeps this drive going from the 13. There's a toss to Turner, stringing it out. Good play by Jonte Green, the corner who started it. Well, he's a 6th-round pick, but he's a keeper. He's been very solid for this Detroit team second half of the year.
You think football's not important to these Detroit Lions? Just watch the end of that run. Vanden Bosch, 93. Watch the pursuit to the football. How many Detroit Lions want to get there? Delmas, 36, Jonte Green, 4 of them, Tulloch. That's impressive to see. Effort to the football. 10 and 4, 4 and 10. Great players. It really doesn't matter.
From the 15, 2nd and 12. Ryan searching, firing over the middle, caught by White. 1st and goal at the 1.
Pass protection. That's the key to any pass offense. If you give a great quarterback with a host of talented receivers time, he can survey the field. Crossing route, they're expecting man-to-man coverage. Roddy White uncovers in the middle. How about that throw? between Gonzalez, White, and 3 different Lions. That's what you call a tight window.
Ryan's had 5 successive completions, average of about 13 yards per. First and goal from the 1, going to throw for it. Flipping it back to Michael Palmer for the touchdown.
How many different eligible receivers can this guy throw the ball to? That's a design quick pass into the flat for Mike Cox, and Ryan shows the presence to come backside and find Michael Palmer of all people. They want the ball thrown here, and watch Ryan come out of the fake. He sees the fullback covered, and he gets back to his complimentary receiver Palmer, who slid across the formation. Great design. Short yardage and goal line looks good in this game, Mike. It had been a weakness coming into Detroit. They've solved that problem.
First touchdown catch of the season, 3rd on the career. The 3rd-year player from Clemson. That's the point added by Matt Bryant. Matt Ryan, 31 touchdown passes this year. Ties Steve Bartkowski for the single-season Falcon record. More importantly, puts his team up a dozen. A reminder, after the game, we'll have Sports Center GMC post-game report here as Calvin Johnson and the Lions take on the Falcons. More Tim Tebow talk. And RG3 ready to go for the Redskins. Huge games in the NFL tomorrow. Plenty of conversation about the guys who are actually going to be on the field tomorrow. Coming up, I'm sure, at some point on Sports Center tonight. What are you laughing at?
You know what I'm laughing at.
Yeah, I know you're laughing at me. It's okay. 28-16. 7:12 to go. Let's see what Atlanta can do on defense here as they try to close it out. Lock down that number 1 seed. Lions will start the drive from their own 20-yard line.
You'll see a championship quarterback answer a score with a score. 3rd down and 4. Crowds in the game. How about this throw under fire? Off your back foot. Then on 2nd and 17, somebody make a play. I'll make it myself. He scrambles for a 16-yard gain to keep the drive alive. Then on the goal line, how about the presence to avoid Ndamukong Suh and show the poise to go through his progression. That's a big-time drive by a great quarterback. I hope he gets the recognition he deserves. That's 31 touchdown passes and over 4,500 passing yards, both Falcon records.
First down for Stafford, looking towards Calvin Johnson, trying to get the record. Instead, it's an interception. He forced that ball, and Asante Samuel comes underneath, comes away with the pick. And the 3rd Detroit turnover with 7:03 in the game could put Atlanta in business for the number 1 seed.
Well, these are the plays that have plagued Stafford all year. And no matter how we look at this, this is a decision that you can't make. He's clearly looking for a home run ball to Calvin Johnson, but it's not there. Live another day. Do not force the ball late in the middle of the field. That's the 3rd Detroit Lion turnover, 2 fumbles and an interception. Can't happen.
And Stafford knows with Samuel. What did he say about Asante yesterday? We know what he's all about. And it's going and being a ball hawk and going to get it. And threw him a very easy one to get that time. Career interception number 49 for the 2-time Super Bowl champ. And Michael Turner on the ground. The first big gain of the night for Turner for the 20-yard line.
It's that scheme that drives people crazy when you play the Falcons. They're going to bluff the edge with Roddy White, and they bring bodies to the backside. It's a strange play that these Atlanta Falcons run. It's got a lot of misdirection on the backside of the play, and when Turner cuts it back, there's no Detroit Lions in sight. Good design and another nice north-south run by Turner.
Yep. At the 20-yard line, Ryan swinging it to Turner. Got a block on the edge. Enticing Playbo, and he'll get 3 yards total on the catch.
You know, when you look at Matt Ryan, the 3rd overall pick in 2008, there's Stafford, the 1st overall pick in 2009. There's a lot of glittering statistics with both of them, but Matt Ryan will be 56-21 as a starter after tonight. Stafford will be 17-27. The only statistic that Stafford and Calvin Johnson need to resolve is that one loss column, Mike. And they've had some grueling, difficult, hard-to-figure losses this year. And a lot of them have occurred with implosions in the fourth quarter.
18. Here is Turner. For two. Well, John, the last 3 games in this building, they had the lead at the 2-minute warning. Touchdown pass from Rodgers to Randall Cobb. Packers win. Thanksgiving, the fiasco with the 81-yard run. Houston's comeback, missed field goals. Texans win at dinner time on Thanksgiving. And then Andrew Luck bringing the Colts from down a dozen for a 2-point victory, including the pass as time expired to Donnie Avery. It's a team that a lot of teams, when they have a bunch of losses at this point, say there are a lot of close losses. The Lions, there have been excruciating, as you said, home setbacks this year. 4-man rush. Ryan throws to Jones again. Julio's got it. Fight through tackles to get inside the 6.
Mike, watch Julio Jones come off the ball. He made Jonte Green run right out of the stadium, and then he burst and turned. Watch him come off the ball and sell the deep ball. That's a beautiful pattern by Julio Jones. I like this receiver coach a lot. I know a lot about Terry Robisky. He's hard on these receivers. He works them every day, and it shows. There's Terry right there. The refinement in Julio Jones' game from year 1 to year 2. Great work.
Terry's son, Brian, on the opposite sideline playing for Detroit here tonight. The quiz, Rodgers inside the 5. He gets down to the 2-yard line. Detroit can hold Atlanta to a field goal. It's their only chance of staying in the game. It would be a 15-point game.
Big Mike Johnson checking in as an eligible tight end. All these personnel groupings that the Falcons have, they also use extra tackles to play tight end. You see Johnson, number 79. He's a former 3rd-round pick out of Alabama. They bring him in these short yardage goal line situations. They give him a little more pop in the hole.
Lions had confusion. Got Jonte Green back on the field. Now running a defensive tackle, Sammy Hill, off. On the run, it is stopped by Rodgers. And the Lions need to take a timeout. They want to try to stay in the game, and they do at 3:14.
Like Detroit had 12 men on the field there. Surprised they didn't call a penalty there, Jerry.
Poor Jerry Austin sits here and watches the game, and you yell at him when the man can't speak back to you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Jerry.
Timeout, Detroit. Calvin Johnson within 4 yards of Jerry Rice's record. That's a bit of a hollow mark as his team is down 12. It's 3rd and goal here for the Falcons. Looking for touchdown number 5 on the night. Will it be a 5th throw from Matt Ryan? No, just over the head of Roddy White, and the choice to throw the ball there stops the clock at 3:09 and gives Detroit a little bit extra time.
It's the same touchdown that they threw to Carolina a couple weeks ago. They love this against man-to-man. It's a double cross where Julio tries to pick the defender that's playing man-to-man against Roddy White. Unfortunately, Julio got hung up a little bit. The throw was there, but I've seen Matt Ryan audible to that play a couple times inside the 5-yard line. Should have had his 5th touchdown.
Matt Bryant on for a 20-yard field goal to make it a 15-point game. And obviously that extra point size field goal. So 31-16, 3:05 to go. It's our final Monday night game. No Monday nighter week 17. So it's the wrap-up of our season. And, John, we saw Matt Ryan with 4 touchdowns here tonight. We've seen great quarterback performances throughout the year. You got Peyton Manning. Remember the comeback from down 24-0 to the 35-24 win in San Diego.
Amazing story. I think he could be the comeback player of the year, the MVP of the year. He could even be the coach of the year the way he's played this year.
The way he's put it in their offense. And then Tom Brady, what we saw in the game a few weeks ago against Houston, 42-14.
He just seems to get better every year no matter who the coach is, coordinator-wise. They get Gronkowski back. They're going to be a real handful.
All the questions, Bears, Niners, big showdown, and Colin Kaepernick stepped in, was awesome in the first half, and has taken off.
New wave of quarterback. Can this offense work at playoff time? It'll be fun to see.
Huge game against Russell Wilson on Sunday night, and all the young quarterbacks. Wilson making it in the playoffs. Luck, Robert Griffin III and the Redskins control their own fate.
RG3's taking the NFL by storm. What has happened in Washington, D.C. might be the most exciting thing I've seen in football this year, this past couple months.
A lot of those players are sitting back in their hotel rooms waiting for their chance to get on the field. Many of them in clinching situations for a variety of things. Divisions, home field, playoff spots. As Week 16 will continue tomorrow. Stefano Logan will take a knee, and the drive will start at the 20-yard line. Storyline coming in tonight, Calvin Johnson within 3 of Jerry Rice's record, needs 4 to break it. And John, not all, not many, but significant percentage of the yards have come in situations like this where the Lions are down a couple of scores. They need to be no huddle and throw to get back in.
There's no doubt about it. And for this record to be broken during a 7-game losing streak can't be a great feeling for Megatron.
But does not take away from the accomplishment, especially because of the lack of personnel around. 4 yards away is Johnson. Stafford throws. There it is. Megatron into the record books. The single-season all-time NFL receiving yardage record.
You know, it's 31-16 Atlanta. And look at this crowd. Mike, this place is jammed. They're staying to see their beloved Megatron break this record. This is emotional to me to see this type of support for their favorite player, Calvin Johnson. Tip your hat to him. Through all the adversity, he's still lighting it up. Credit to these fans, too, Mike.
Also 10 or more catches with that one. Stafford is blitzed. He throws towards Chris Durham, who is out of bounds, incomplete. We're at second down. Let's go back to the record-setting catch a moment ago, and this bit of NFL history.
Well, Robert McClain, number 27, blows the coverage on the far side of the screen. It's just a shallow cross, and as we said earlier in this broadcast, when you accumulate over 1,800 yards receiving, I promise you at least 900 of it is after the catch. That's what Jerry did so well, and that's what Calvin does extremely well. Get it done after the catch.
Second down for Stafford, who throws right through the hands of Johnson. And incomplete. They had a drop to the stats, but here are the impressive statistics. These are NFL records set or tied tonight. Receiving yards in the season, 8th consecutive game with 100 yards, 11th game in a season with 100 yards. And we mentioned that was his 10th catch, 4 consecutive games with 10 or more receptions. That's an NFL record. And he's also tied the receptions for the record for most receptions in a calendar month, 43 in December. And he'll have one more game against the Bears in December. Stafford throwing for Scheffler, and that one was a rare off-target throw for Matthew here tonight in 4th down.
All the stats are great, and congratulations again to Calvin. But don't forget, Stafford is on schedule to throw the ball more than any quarterback in NFL history. Before it's all said and done, Stafford's going to throw 700 to 750 passes. And as you said, a lot of this yardage is meaningless as far as the Falcons are concerned. They're just anxious to get home, and they've secured home field advantage. That's the big story to me tonight.
4th and 10, Lions will go for it as the throw is caught by Tony Scheffler at the 40-yard line. Guy who, when the Lions used to play at the Silver Dome, about 30 miles north of here, won the punt, pass, and kick contest. He's from right around the area in Chelsea, Michigan.
How do you know these things? That's pretty good stuff right there.
You like that?
Yeah.
Just want to leave you with one good one before the season's done. Joyce Bell made a man miss. Bell has been a very productive receiver for Detroit this year. Gets a first down to 24 as we flag down during the run by Bell.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, offense number 66, It's a 15-yard penalty, but it will be 1st and 10.
Well, Stephen Peterman, who's had his problems in this second half, not getting blocks, picks up the first down.
Watch it. You're going to see the right guard, 66. Ball's going to be thrown. He's hustling down there, covering a forward pass.
.205 to go. Stafford throwing to Bell, who's heading for the sideline. It doesn't matter because we hit the 2-minute warning, but a first down by Bell. Inside the 30-yard line. Game still technically a 2-possession game. Detroit has a chance. But the Lions will remember this night for the night Calvin Johnson broke Jerry Rice's single-season receiving yard record. And Dad's got the ball to prove it. John, I know you've been a part of many team photos. Here's our team photo. All the people who work on our show. Happy holidays, everyone. What are you doing?
Speaking of great quarterbacks, there's a heck of a trigger. Did a heck of a job, Mike.
Pleasure to
putting up with me, man.
Well, that's
takes a lot of talent.
For all three of us, for me, for you, for Lisa, our rookie of the year, and our crew. Really, it's a pleasure to front all the women and men who you saw there throughout the year and be the people in front of the camera, because everyone behind the camera and behind the scenes, they are the stars of our team.
Hey, do we have fun with those guys or what?
Oh, great time.
I mean, you look forward to going on the road. Professionalism, the work ethic, the commitment they have.
All led by our producer, Jay Rothman, our director, Chip Dean. One and all, we say thank you. In the 29-yard line, minute 58 left. Detroit has 2 timeouts, and they need 2 scores. Stafford slinging it toward Will Heller. Incomplete. Now, John, you look at this Detroit offensive line. Guys have been there for a long time and a lot of losses, getting towards the end of their careers.
Dominic Raiola, the center. Jeff Backus at left tackle. You just wonder what the future has in store for these Lions. They've got 8 unrestricted free agents on defense. Quarterback, Stafford's salary, his structure of his contract will be a conversation. They have work to do in Detroit with this roster.
Stafford slinging across the middle. It's brought in by Scheffler at the 11-yard line. Jim Schwartz going to use one of his 2 timeouts with 1:47 left here.
How does Matthew Stafford throw the ball like this? I mean, there's no reason for Stafford to even move his left foot. Normally, a right-handed quarterback steps with his left foot right towards the target. No movement whatsoever in Stafford's lower body. He can throw the ball sidearm, 3-quarter, overhand, you name it.
He set the Lion record for completions tonight. It was a record held by Bobby Lane.
Watch that left foot, Mike. Normally a right-hander steps right at the target. He just opens his hips and flicks it. But that ball's flying about 45, 50 miles an hour, and it's perfectly accurate.
Stafford went to the same high school as Bobby Lane, Highland Park, just outside of Dallas. From the 11, trying to get a score to keep the game alive. Joyce Bell should go out of bounds instead of fighting for those yards, and he finally does get out of bounds at the 2. Good job by Bell.
This has been the story of this game tonight. The Lions have moved the ball up and down the field for 460 yards, but they have not converted in the red zone. They've been shut down 3 times where Atlanta has scored touchdowns, and that's the story of this game. Let's see if Detroit can knock it across the goal line and get their onside kick team ready.
1 for the first down, 2 for the touchdown. Blitz comes. Stafford slant for Chris Durham is broken up by Dante Robinson.
Full blitz. And if you're going to be a shotgun quarterback, young quarterbacks out there, you better be working on catching and releasing in the gun. You have to be able to catch the ball with or without the laces and unload it. That time Stafford did a great job catching the ball, getting rid of it before the blitz could arrive. That's a strength of Stafford's.
When you talk about the backups playing in receiver spots like that, there's an example there. Towards the corner, nearly intercepted as McClain was covering Calvin Johnson.
There's a case right there where you'd like to see Stafford set his feet and get more on the throw. Calvin wins to the backside pylon. Ball was late. Not enough on it. Good recovery once again by this Falcon defense. Number 27, man, has he been a story. Robert McLean come from nowhere to solidify the secondary of the Falcons. They lost Brent Grimes. They needed a nickel back. McLean's played well for him.
2 for a touchdown, 1 for a first down. 0 is the #1 seed for Atlanta. And that's it. The Atlanta Falcons will be the #1 seed in the NFC playoffs.
Stafford's upset with one of Jerry's old friends, the referees. Inside of 2 minutes, they go back to their natural position behind the defense. And you're going to see the referee become a defender on this play.
The umpire.
Yes, umpire. And Stafford, nothing has gone right for the Detroit Lions in the red zone tonight. Even the umpires are working against them, Jerry.
So the Atlanta Falcons will be the #1 seed in the NFC. This many record set evening for Calvin Johnson will be in a loss. 31-15. That's going to be a safety. You've got to get the whole ball out of the end zone. So the safety is taken as Ndamukong Suh made the pressure, and it's 31-18.
I like the way that they finished this game. Ndamukong Suh against Peter Kahns. We talked about that matchup all night. That's an area of concern if I'm an Atlanta Falcon. Is the right guard Kahns, his playing strength at that position. He's an athletic center converting to guard, but he's been overpowered a few times. And I'm sure the future opponents of the Atlanta Falcons are watching that. But you got to give Suh credit for getting off the ball in a predictable run-down situation.
Well, two points. Let's get Suh first. We talked to Suh yesterday. He has been criticized about a lot of things on the field and off the suspensions. The 2-game suspension for stomping on Evan Dietrich Smith Thanksgiving of last year. The fines he's incurred. Warren Sapp, one of the great interior defensive linemen in the NFL's recent history, or all time, really. He's been critical of some of Suh's play. Suh told us he's going to reach out to Warren in the offseason and see if he'll work with him.
He should. That'd be a guy I'd reach out to.
Yeah.
But, you know, Suh he's been criticized by unnamed sources, too. I mean, unnamed Lion players, unnamed general managers. He might be the most scrutinized defensive tackle I've seen. But clearly he can play better. He can be a better face of this franchise, I think. And a guy like Warren Sapp, one of my former players, could help him.
After the safety, it's a free kick. It's a huge kick by Bosher, sending Logan back to the 4. And he gives himself up and takes a knee. He thought it was a kickoff.
Wow.
And there have been more bizarre, bad, bonehead decisions by Stephon Logan as a returner than I've seen by anybody else in the league this year.
I'll tell you what, Jim Schwartz, he can't believe it. This is not good for the game to end like this. It's like, treat it like a normal kickoff after a safety. You're free to return this ball. I don't know if he thought he was in the end zone or I have no idea what he was thinking there.
Well, like remember, you had the hand signal that he made before the punt that he muffed earlier this year. And Jim Schwartz is looking at him. He said something to the effect of, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen."
I agree.
Perhaps with another holiday cheer in the middle of it.
Wasn't good. Yeah.
.13 game, minute 20 left. Stafford throws to Bell. He'll go out of bounds here at the 9-yard line. And a lot of folks around the NFL watching Calvin Johnson tonight. He'll set this record for receiving yards in a season. Eddie George, congratulations to Megatron. Next 2,000 yards. Perhaps he's over 200 tonight. He's going to have a chance next week against Chicago. And A.J. Green of the Bengals, they have a huge game against Pittsburgh tomorrow. Congrats to the big homie on the record. Well deserved. At Big Play CJ. I'm sure Calvin's handle is being used often for tweets. Bell out of the backfield. Hops out of bounds.
I'm going to get a Twitter account. You know, I like looking at Asante Samuel this corner of the Falcons. He's come in and really given some life to this organization. And, you know, if you ever watch Atlanta practice or you compete against Asante Samuel, he's one of the great trash talkers in pro football. He really is. He's not one of these twittering trash talkers, Mike.
He's an actual
He's
trash talker?
He's a clean trash talker, but he has a lot of fun. He brings a lot of life to the Falcons, and glad to see him back in the playoffs.
Stafford running and throwing it out of the tackle box, incomplete. I will give you for Christmas my iPhone, my iPad. I'll give them to you if you get a Twitter account.
I wouldn't have a Twitter account if it was the last Twitter account available. I guarantee you, you got to let that Twitter stuff go, man.
You learn a lot of information on here.
Yeah, you need it.
Yeah,
you need a break.
As a matter of fact, at some point, 13 times a week, I found out on Twitter you weren't going to be with me the next Monday.
What are you tweeting right now?
Still here. I wonder what your Twitter handle would be. What's
wrong with this world?
Well, we know it's right with the Falcons that they'll be home for the playoffs. But, John, I was thinking back to that safety a moment ago. And that's the one question about this team so far as Stafford takes a shot. And confusion with Scheffler and his quarterback. Can they line up and run the ball effectively? And Mike Smith said that's a legitimate criticism of our team when we talked to him this week. And it's something we, just in a small sample, saw there. And other than the one run that Turner had tonight, they didn't run the ball effectively inside the tackles.
Oh, they didn't, but they did last week. It is a part of your offense, though, that you have to be ready for if you're playing the Falcons, because they have two distinctly different backs. Turner and Jaquiz Rodgers force you to spend a lot of time preparing for the running game, even if it isn't hitting on all cylinders. But, man, can they throw the ball.
3rd and 10 as Stafford finds Heller complete, and he goes out of bounds. So Atlanta has had home playoff games before. Arthur Blank, the owner, has put a lot of work into this team, a lot of support. They've lost them, including as the #1 seed. They lost to Green Bay. They lost to the Super Bowl champs Giants. That was on the road last year. Why should this year be different in the playoffs for Mike Smith's team?
You know, everybody talks about the futility of Mike Smith and the Falcons in the playoffs. How about getting to the playoffs? You think the Lions wouldn't like to be where the Falcons are in these last few years? A lot of teams don't even get to the playoffs. The Falcons have won 56 games in Matt Ryan's first 5 seasons. That's a phenomenal accomplishment. Playoffs are the playoffs. Anything goes. It's single elimination, but I think the Atlanta Falcons are primed to get it done this year. I really love the way Matt Ryan and this offense is clicking, and I've seen him play better defensively than I have tonight.
That was the 50th pass by Stafford. It was another completion to Calvin Johnson, who has obliterated the number here tonight with 225, 11 catches for 225. He's almost at 1,900 yards. He's going to be within 100 or so going into the game in here against Chicago next Sunday. 108 away at this moment.
And I hate to rain on the party of all these great records, but they don't keep a statistic for meaningless yardage, Mike. And a lot of this yardage doesn't really have much meaning in the outcome of these games. And when you look back at Jerry Rice, they were leading in a lot of games and weren't throwing the ball with this kind of regularity. It does tarnish, I think, the record a little bit, although Megatron is one rare human being, and I congratulate him. But a lot of this yardage right now is meaningless.
40 seconds left, and over the head of Johnson and incomplete. In that season when Rice set the record at 1848, it was a 49 team that missed the playoffs even though they won 11 games. They went 11-5 that year.
Calvin leaves the game. You know, how many routes do you think he's run? How sore do you think that body is? You know, he walks in yesterday. He gets double coverage. He has to run down the field after the catch. He fights for inches. 15th week of the season. That man is exhausted.
Final half minute, and it's Bell on the catch and out of bounds for the first down. Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, got hit over there on the sideline. The 49ers did make the playoffs at 11-5 season. That's my mistake. The year Jerry Rice set the record in '95. Couple of different quarterbacks there, too.
Take a look on the right side of your screen. Bell gets knocked out of bounds, and it's like Gunther Cunningham took a spill. Let's hope he's okay.
Gunther's back up there on the sideline. Pass for Bell incomplete with 26 seconds left.
Gunther Cunningham, you got to love him. He's coached a long time, Mike. I competed with him when he was with the Chiefs, coached with the Raiders at one time. He is one tough, old-school coach. Loves the game. This has been a grueling season on him. Taking great care of himself. The Lions, I think, with Scott Linehan as the offensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz as the head coach, and Gunther, that battery's been together longer than any battery in football.
Yes, all 4 years here they've been together. Receiver falls down. Chris Durham with 21 seconds left. You mentioned Cunningham and what he's been up against, John, in the secondary. This is the 63rd game that he's been the defensive coordinator. 31 different secondaries that he's gone to the field with.
Yeah, you forget Bill Bentley, a draft choice, has been gone a long time. Jacob Lacey's out. Eric Coleman just cut. Amari Spivey, Ricardo Silva. Louis Delmas has been hurt a lot. They've had so many different combinations in the secondary, it's not even fair to evaluate this Lion defense.
This will be the 55th pass for Stafford here tonight. And just put it up for grabs towards Heller. And it's incomplete with 14 seconds left.
You just wonder how many times you want to see Stafford throw it. This is your franchise, Mike. 24 years old. He's thrown 55 passes, and you'd hate to see something crazy happen where Stafford did get injured throwing the ball like he's throwing it. He's got to be exhausted himself. Closing in on 700 passing attempts for the season.
I'm sure he'll throw here. And then 6 more passes after that, and that's the single season record held by Drew Bledsoe. Most passes thrown in a year. Lots of numbers, but the ones that matter the most will be 4 and 11 and 7 straight losses. Will Heller the catch with 5 seconds left. I don't think they have time to down it. It's done. Johnson has the record, but the Falcons have the best record in the NFC. And the NFC road to the Super Bowl will go through the Georgia Dome. Atlanta 31, Detroit 18. Back to talk to the winning quarterback, Matt Ryan, after this.